And I just want to talk to you if you're a bit newer to Bitcoin, how you can win. Hopefully signal's okay here. We'll see how we go. But when I'm in my consulting office, what I help people through is when newer people are coming into Bitcoin, they have a problem, they have zero Bitcoin. We want to make them get the most value out of their euro or their dollar or their pound sterling or whatever currency they happen to be. We consult with people all over the world. Check out that, that's nice, isn't it? A little ice rink just there. Just out in Iceland at the moment. Pretty cool. It's 20 to 11 and it's only just getting like dawn. It doesn't get bright till 11 here. It's so weird, I can't get my head around it. And it gets dark super early. I wouldn't be able for it, lads. A lot of darkness. But I better do the introduction. My name is Denny Collins. I own and run Ireland's first Bitcoin consulting company. For years we've given people the facts on Bitcoin so that they could use it as part of a pension strategy. And those who have actioned our plan, some people have already hit their retirement target. And some people have only started this month, last month. And they're well underway. So unfortunately our talking heads have failed the Irish people because they are dismissive and ignorant. And their incentives don't align with Bitcoin because by teaching you about Bitcoin, it actually takes money out of their pocket instead of putting it into their pocket. So we give you all the facts. My personal story is I went from caravan with a net worth of zero to being retired and only working on things I'm super passionate for, which is an awesome place to be. And I want you to try and experience that because I know what it's like to go to the supermarket with no money and have to buy the cheapest thing. Anyway, how do you get as much Bitcoin for your money as you can if you're new? So you have a problem. I'm on my way to get a massage here, so I won't be able to stay on too long. And my hand is going to get freezing holding the phone because I don't have my gloves on. But when you know Bitcoin, you have a problem, okay? And this is how I sort of explain it to my consulting clients. It's like, because obviously everyone wants to get the most Bitcoin for their money. And at the moment now we have spot ETF about to launch. And, again, as usual, people are trying to time the market. Oh, it's going to be a drop before it, it's going to rally after, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. It's the same story as always, okay? If you have no Bitcoin, two things. One, you have an amazing opportunity because most of the world has no Bitcoin. But two, you have to move, okay? When you understand the fundamentals and the market dynamics of this thing, you have to move and you have to move aggressively and you have to move fast. And even if that means that the price in the short term moves against you, I'm like, good, okay? Now most people don't understand this because they're short-term thinkers. They're not, people don't naturally have an investor mindset. We have an employee mindset because most of us are employees. So we don't understand about investing and that. An employee mindset is someone, and we're all like this, guys, okay? If I do an hour of work, I must be paid for an hour of that work and that must be a set figure, okay? But an investor mindset's very, very different. It's not like that at all. Okay, an investor mindset is if I have an hour of work, I'm investing, maybe I need to continue to do that before I see the return, but the return will be more than if you just pay me for my hour of work. So the investor mindset is more like building, and it's not even building an asset, it can be building information or it can be building an asset portfolio. Okay, but it's all about deferred gratification. So naturally we're thinking in the if I input one, I want to get an output of whatever you think it should be. The investor mindset's very different. So the long and short of that means is you have to acquire Bitcoin. Those of you who've been here for the last month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, you'll notice when Bitcoin moves, it moves like a bloody rocket ship. So trying to trade it is just silly and you more or less get left behind. So you have to just deploy the capital. Once you figure this out, you have to get the money in. And even if that means in the short term it trades against you. And I'll give you a story. Whoa. Load of snow just fell off that. Okay, I'm going to move out in the street a little bit. I'm not going to walk under roofs because all that just fell down. Snow dumps could be taken out here and alive, guys. Don't forget your daily exercise. I'm just getting a walk in. I'm going for a massage, but trying to get the steps in. Hit the like button, hit the share button, try and push this out there to as many people. Remember, everyone reads clickbait newspaper headlines and they give some bad information about Bitcoin. Then they don't own Bitcoin, they end up working all their life. And then there's mad idiots like me who've just been acquiring Bitcoin for a few years and life is a hell of a lot easier. And there's mad idiots like you guys who are maybe just starting or started and these are building your portfolio, but I'm pretty confident in enough time, wherever that is, it depends what your strategy is, but you too will have more time in your hands and less need to be going to a job. So I'll tell you a story. In 2000 and it was sort of like 9, 10, 11, a guy I know was buying up property, okay? And because Bitcoin is property, so you can think of it like this. But he was buying up properties, apartments around Dublin, and he had a few quid. He wasn't over leveraged like all the other property gurus. Okay, leveraged up to the eyeballs and then got wiped out in the crash and had to rebuild again and are probably making all the same mistakes again. This guy's a smart guy. Okay, buying up properties, and I remember he got an apartment and he paid like 50 grand for it. And then he was telling me, I'm buying the one next door. I think I'm going to get it for 35. And I was like, you paid 50 for this one and you're going to try and buy that one for 35? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, all right. And he says, I've no problem paying 75 for it. And I was just thinking like that was a lot of money back then. It's still a fucking chunk of change, lads, don't get me wrong. But that was a lot of wedge. And I'm thinking like, well, what's going on here? How come this guy like doesn't really care about paying way over or way under, and he got one and it could be more expensive or cheaper? And he was just, his answer was, Dinian's apartment. These things were worth 175 grand last year. And I was like, yeah, it's the same house, Dinny. It's the same apartment. What do you think's going to happen in the future? And I was like, all right, so you think they're going to go back up in price? You know, maybe I'm naive and not as sophisticated in my investing back then. He's like, yeah, probably. Well, today that guy's property portfolio, okay, which is multiple of millions, has done a 5x or a 10x. I'm not sure what he's worth. I wouldn't ask him now. Okay, and it's because he was just collecting the assets and he didn't care about the short-term price, whether he got it 10% cheaper or 5% cheaper. Whereas there was all the property gurus who sat in the sidelines waiting for the cheapest property. And they didn't buy it, they didn't get it. Because lads like my buddy went and snapped it all up. And that was how I came to understand, okay, an asset is an asset. And if you're thinking as an investor's thinking decades rather than weeks or months. And, you know, that's how you really, really create masses of wealth. And that's what you have to think about. That's why, not you have to, I won't tell you what you have to do. You do you, I'll do me. Nothing here is financial advice. I'm just having the crack with you. But how I would think of it is as Bitcoin is an asset, and I want to collect as much of that asset as possible, because whether or not the ETF causes the price to go to 100 grand in a week or an hour, okay, or it just goes to 100 grand over the course of 3 years, or it goes to $1 million over a decade, or over 5 years, or over 15 years, makes no difference. One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, and 2 Bitcoin is better than 1. Okay, and at the same stage, 1.1 of a Bitcoin, okay, is better than 0.5 of a Bitcoin, and 0.2 of a Bitcoin is better than both of those. And that's why I think of it, and that's why I constantly accumulate. I don't try and time the market. I don't care about the short-term price. I just buy consistently in a strategy, so I never have to make an emotional decision. It's just every month, when the money comes, the Bitcoin comes, and some months I get more and some months I get less, and it doesn't matter to me. All that matters is that I have more asset, okay? And that's how you guys should think. You have a problem if you own no Bitcoin. You need to acquire it. It's only getting more expensive. It's not really going to matter in the long term. It's a rounding error, whether you buy 5% cheaper or 10 or 20. It doesn't really matter. What matters is if you sit in the sidelines and the market moves against you, now you're punished. Because now what happens is, instead of having a retirement of, it'll take me 10 years to retire early on this Bitcoin, the market moves against you, it can be like, okay, now it takes 20 years. Like, that matters to you, that matters a lot. So I'd rather be in the market than sitting on the sidelines looking at it, trying to get in, and using your emotions, because your emotions will wreck you. I know I go on about this on and on and on and on. But that's my video for today, guys. Hope you have a super day. My hand is freezing. It's actually lovely here. Here, look. I'll show you this cat here, actually. Can you see him? Hold on there now. There he is. Oh, my hands are frozen, lads. Right. I'm going for a lovely massage. Have a good day, guys. Remember, invest in your future. If you don't start today, you will never get to have an amazing future. You will never get to have the free time that you might think I get to enjoy. But I started this journey 15 years ago, and that's why I'm trying to encourage you to start today. Don't trade, invest in your education. Forget all the bullshit. Action. And don't try time markets, because that's all nonsense. Have a super day, Dini out.